huge part of cybersecurity is shopping. People buy many items online using a credit card. Most of these online businesses require you to make an account, and these accounts can hold your address, your phone number, and a credit card number. Many of these well-known stores have been hacked that have millions of people's personal information leaked. One of these stores is Target. Target lost approximately 70 million of its customers' personal information and 40 million credit cards. Adobe, the online software, lost approximately 33 million of its users' credentials and 3.2 million credit card numbers. Snapchat lost about 4.6 million user infos, and potentially all of eBay's 148 million customer credentials have been leaked. All of this damage will reach approximately $6 trillion by 2021, and there isn't a single company in the world that can say they are 100% secure.
So let's talk about money and when it comes to using your credit cards to pay. Many people can steal your credit cards by hacking into businesses, credit card skimmers, and they can hack into your own computer by using viruses or codes in your emails, and they can trick you. Also, many businesses tend to email you when your information has a possibility of being stolen, but not all have to, and that's when you have to be careful. Many people don't realize their credit card information has been stolen until they see fraudulent credit card charges on their account. Now, when people get your information, they can use it for their own purposes, they can sell it, they can scan it and make copies, and use other ways to use your information and your money. Now, your bank can freeze your account, but you can't always trust your bank. Now, you can't always trust your bank to freeze your account because they may look at things and see them as just small things that you might have bought. Some thieves tend to go for a little smaller sales until they see your card works, and then once they do, they can make bigger charges. Now, my dad personally had his account frozen when he went to Virginia and bought 2 tanks of gas for him and my brother back to back. The bank noticed that as weird and froze his account. Now, you have to call then to get your account unfrozen. But sometimes the bank won't notice it, and that relies on you to then call the bank and have your account frozen. Now, you are not responsible for your fraudulent credit card charges if you have your credit card still on your person. Now, if you don't have your card and you physically lose it, then you may be responsible for the charges made with your card. When it comes to your debit card, you sometimes have to physically make a claim and report it and show that it was a fraudulent charge and able to get for it not to be responsible on you. And some banks may charge you if you do not report it in enough time. If you report it usually in the same day, and some banks don't they don't give you any fee. If you report it within 48 hours, some banks give you a $50 fee. Others, if you don't report it within 60 days, you have to pay all the fraudulent charges. But there are easy ways to protect your information and cards. If you have to go to the bank at Wawa, you see that they even say when you're putting your card in and typing your passcode, put your hand over it when typing your passcode in. Also, ATMs, some have the little divider and little folder to try to cover your information. You should still block off as much as you can because some people may put little tiny cameras over the top and they can see you typing in your password. They then have your password to access your card, and that's how thieves can sometimes get your cards. Also, you want to make sure that you, when it comes to your bank accounts and everything, try to make complex passwords so you don't risk the chance of either losing your money, getting hacked, and therefore having to pay for all the fraudulent charges. So make sure if you think you're at risk for getting your card stolen, keep an eye on your accounts so you don't, just in case your bank doesn't call you, so you don't end up losing money and having to pay for all the fraudulent charges.
You may not think of social media as a big deal as far as cyber hacks go. This is why you need to fully understand cybersecurity for social media. and what information is at stake. Social media hacks can be dangerous because your personal information is recorded onto your media. Hence, your birthday, your phone number, where you live, your family information, and all your security questions. Someone you don't know can know a lot more information than you realize. And this is called identity theft. Somebody can take your identity completely and make them seem like they are you. Cybersecurity experts keep social media safe. This is why we need a lot more of it. Cybersecurity experts is in demand in just about every single company online present. Social media has become a way of life for many people, but as with anything else online, it's important to be aware of the risks that it takes. Scammers try to trick people by opening links and attachments. Also, what goes online always will stay online, and it's open to everyone by default. This is why you need to close your accounts when you're completed with them, or delete any old account that is not used anymore. Fake accounts also are a big deal of cybersecurity, because people can post fake people and they can scare other social media users into thinking they're someone that they are really not. And also, shortened and hidden links on computers or on social media anywhere on iPhones. You can click a link very easily and open a tab that leads to scam.
Cybersecurity. It's a real problem nowadays. With everything online that we use, such as your bank information, shopping, social medias, literally even your healthcare program, everything is online, including everything that you use within the government, Social Security, everything like that, the big stuff. It's a real problem if we don't have a strong cybersecurity network. It's an easy thing to prevent, but it's also something that is very cost-worthy and is time-consuming. But if you have a strong system, you're good. Today we've talked about how to prevent, or rather, not how to prevent, we will talk about how to prevent, but rather how it happens within like your bank information, such as credit cards, social securities, ATMs, things like that. How it happens within shopping, of when you're at your Target, your CVS, your Best Buy, Wegmans, anything that relates to shopping, including online shopping. And we have talked about how social medias can get hacked. I mean, big thing with like Trump and his Twitter, I mean, that gets hacked. World War III is coming. But one thing we haven't talked about is how to prevent it. And that's the most important part, is how to prevent it. If we can prevent all this, we'd have a perfect world. Obviously, perfect internet world. But it's a problem if we can't protect it, because all of our information is out there. I'm sure your Facebook is linked with your medical records, such as what happened with Mark Zuckerberg and when Facebook was put on trial. There's an easiest way to prevent it is using what's called a Internet Security Suite. It's basically this program that you can download. Most of them are over $100, but it is well worth it, considering that you could lose thousands to millions of dollars worth of information. I mean, your credit card information is online, all that. And it's basically this program that will sweep your computer constantly. It does it millions of times a day, and it basically checks whether or not there are any terrorist viruses. Now, terrorist viruses. It's basically this thing that will go through your, all it would take is for you to go on a faulty website. You might be thinking you're clicking on Google, but next thing you know, it's an I instead of an L. And your information's out there. Someone has just hacked into your computer and your information's out there. If you have one of these internet security suites, it will protect your computer. It will check it, and if it finds one of these, it will cancel it out. It will get rid of it. It will write a program that will counteract the effects of these to an extent. If it's a very simple, mediocre program, it can counteract it. Or it will just bring up on a message, and you can take it to your, if it's like your MacBook, you can take it to your local Apple store. If it's a simple Dell or Asus or any of those, basically, any computer that doesn't really have a specific store, like any Microsoft provider, you can take that to your Microsoft store or to a Best Buy, go to the Geek Squad, and they will get rid of it. As long as it's a simple program. Obviously, when it's more complex, you're smarter, know what you're doing, you can write these things to not be detectable. But most likely people that will do that aren't going to be hacking your information, unless you're Bill Gates. But there's many providers. One is Norton 360. That's one that will connect all of your devices together, your computer, your tablet, your smart TV, your iPhone, your Apple Watch, your iPod, everything you have that runs on a Wi-Fi network. It will connect all of it together. And that will seamlessly connect your devices to where if one gets hacked, it will then block that one off and protect your other ones. Now that's just one of the examples. There's also McAfee Total Protection. There's Trend Micro Maximum Security. There's many options out there. All of them are great as long as they're reliable. I recommend Norton because it is what I use, and it's practically the best one out there. And it's only a little over $100, and it can save you thousands of dollars. The next thing to be aware of are these things called phishing attempts. Phishing attempts are where people will send you a text message where it will be, I got one the other day that was a U-Haul rental. I don't rent U-Hauls. I have no reason to rent a U-Haul. And it said that your U-Haul rental is ready. You just had to click on the link to accept your payment method. Now, to an average person that doesn't know much about what a phishing attempt is, it's basically this thing where they will send you a link, give you a phone call, go on a website, and it's basically where all you have to do is get your IP address to them, and then you're screwed. Your information, it's theirs. They've captured it. And it's basically, they'll send you a link, and when you click on it, it will then connect your computer device, whatever you're using, your device, to theirs, and gives them a direct bridge to hack your computer. It gives them easy access, very easy access. So if you ever get sent a link to anything, unless if it's like your mom sending you a link to the Mother's Day present she wants, don't click on it. And if it seems like a sketchy link, it's probably a sketchy link, so don't click on it. But it's also to be aware that these things aren't just links, they can be phone calls. Now when you get that random phone call, you're like, oh, it's a telemarketer, I might pick it up and mess with them a little bit to be funny, but what if it's not a telemarketer? Easy example is when people call and they see if you're actually going to answer, if it's a legit phone or not. And if you do answer, they then have access to your phone. All it takes is 1 minute and 30 seconds for you to be on that phone call before they can get your information. That's how the FBI will track phone calls. If you answer the phone, all they need is 1 minute and 30 seconds for you to be on that phone. They can even do it in 30 seconds if you're good enough. And they then have your information. They can hack into your phone by literally you answering it. So if it's important, they'll leave a message. Just let it ring. If it's someone you know, like your mother or your father calling, answer it. It's pretty obvious. But if it's a number where you're living in Pennsylvania and they call from like Scottsdale in Arizona, don't answer it. It's probably a telemarketer, but on the low chance, it could be a cybersecurity hacker. The next kind of problem are websites. Now, websites are weird because it could be something as simple as Springford's. They could engineer a website to look just like Springford's, and next thing you know, it's not Springford's. It could be something where there's no hyphen. It's a underline or an underscore. So it can be simple things like that to change it. One great example is Penn State. Penn State got hacked. Someone sent an email that was Penn State University, but it was the Penn State University. They don't call it the Penn State University. They call it Penn State University or the University of Pennsylvania, or the Pennsylvania State University, whichever one it is. And they got an email and they sent it to all the students, and all the students that clicked on it, it was for a free taco at your local dining hall. So what student wouldn't click on it? It's free food. I would click on it. So the students clicked on it, and then next thing you know, whoever hacked into it got all their information. And that then connects it to all of the students. And this is off of a simple link that was connected to a website that someone hacked into, a Penn State website. So if a website seems sketchy, even if it is one that you trust, make sure that you fully trust it. Obviously, if it's like Apple or Best Buy or something like that, it's okay. But if a website seems sketchy, it most likely is sketchy. So don't put your information in there. Another way to prevent cybersecurity hacks is use a strong password. It's very simple. If you can memorize it, don't use it. If it's your pet's name, don't use it. And don't tell people it. Don't go around to your Aunt Sally saying, oh yeah, my Netflix password is Aunt Sally. Like, don't make it something so simple. Make it something to where you literally have to write it down and use paper. Don't put it in your phone, use paper. Write it on a piece of paper and put it in a notebook. Keep a full notebook of all your passwords. Make sure there's something where it's not anything related to you. So don't make it like your family member or the school you went to. Don't make it something so simple. You can do that with your security questions, but don't make it something so simple for someone easy to be able to guess it. Same as your home network. Don't make your home network Wi-Fi, like the Wi-Fi, when someone comes in, they're like, what's the Wi-Fi password? If you can tell them, change it. Change it immediately. Because if you're able to memorize it, it's not good enough. You want weird letters. You want weird characters in there. You want numbers. You want your carets, your dollar signs, your number sign. You want lowercase, uppercase. You want spaces. You want it to be difficult. Something that's not easy to guess. Something that's not easy to hack. Some statistics. They're kind of incredible of how easy people are able to get hacked and how many people get hacked. In India, their government facility was hacked. 1.1 billion people, all of their information was accessed. Their social security number, their bank information, their medical information. They got in a car accident in 1996, that was the hackers. That was theirs at that point. They couldn't do anything about it. And that's something where imagine if your tax statements got released, your social security got released, your credit card information got released. That's a lot of money to be losing. A lot of money to be losing. Approximately 143 million Americans face potential lifelong identity threats after it happens the first time. So they get hacked the first time, they think, oh, it's done, no big deal. 143 million of them approximately are going to deal with this a lifelong. That's about half the population. There's roughly 360 million people in the United States. Cybersecurity attacks increased by 32% going into the beginning of 2018, and then raised again to 47% between the months of April and June in 2018. There were 765 million people in the months of April, May, and June of 2018 that were hacked in the United States. Or country, or planet, sorry. According to USA Today. Finally, my last thing is have common sense. That's all it is. Don't be screaming your information out loud for everybody to hear. Don't give random people your information, and just be smart. Don't be stupid. Just put forth an effort to protect yourself, because in the end, it is your information that will be stolen. It is your information that is accessible at all times. Everything is going electronic nowadays. Just be smart about it. Don't be stupid. Use common sense. Thank you.